My wife and I have been married for 10 years and together for 12. We have 2 children. My sister-in-law Jenna is a single mom as her husband sadly passed away 7 years ago. When Jenna's husband passed away, my wife and I provided support for Jenna and her daughter because it was a really traumatic time for them. Over the years, my wife and I spent a lot of time over at Jenna's house, and she would come over to our house. I also developed a really strong bond with my niece. My wife, my children and I had a really strong connection with Jenna and her daughter, and we were a really tight-knit group. That was until a few months ago when Jenna confessed something to both me and my wife. We were all drunk and having a good time, and Jenna kind of just blurted out that she developed feelings for me. I was shocked, and Jenna just burst out in tears and said a lot of things like how she was really grateful I was a father figure to her daughter. I don't really remember too much from that night, except that my wife kicked Jenna out of our house after that. My wife and I had a talk about it the next day, and my wife was obviously not happy at all. She said she had suspected this for years, the way Jenna was acting around me, and she couldn't believe how Jenna betrayed her like that. My wife said we would cut off all contact with Jenna, and I did accept it. My wife told me to block Jenna, which I did. However, I feel like this whole arrangement has been a bit harsh, especially towards my niece. My niece has been texting me a lot, and I've showed my wife the texts, telling her it was unfair that we were punishing our niece too. My wife told me it was a consequence of Jenna's actions. However, last night, when my niece sent a really long and sad text about how she and her mom were feeling, I felt really bad and had a talk about it with my wife. I told my wife to stop treating Jenna and her daughter so badly, especially after they both went through a traumatic time. I told my wife it was wrong what Jenna did, but at least have some sympathy. I told my wife to imagine if she were in Jenna's shoes, and then, one night, tragically lost me. That would scar her for her entire lifetime. However, my wife got really sad after I said that and just broke down in tears. She didn't say anything except that she loved me, and she didn't speak to me the rest of the night. I do feel guilty about what I said. I didn't intend to make my wife feel like this. Was I the AH?